and welcome back to the 6-5 Summit. I'm Shelley Kramer, one of the founding partners of Futurum Research, and on behalf of my team here at Futurum and the team at Moor Insights and Strategy, welcome. We're very glad to have you. In this spotlight session, I had the opportunity to talk with Ted Kummert, the Executive Vice President of Product Engineering for Uipath. And one of my favorite kinds of conversations to have is with engineers. It's been a big year for Uipath with an IPO in April of this last year and lots of excitement along the way. In our conversation, Ted and I cover some of the biggest themes around the fully automated enterprise, including some exciting new products from Uipath that will take businesses to the next level. I think you're going to want to hear this. Hello, this is Shelley Kramer, and welcome to this session of the 6-5 Summit. We're so glad to have you here. Today, my conversation is going to be with Ted Kummert, who's the Executive Vice President of Products and Engineering for a little company called Uipath. And Uipath has had a tremendously exciting year. Ted, it's great to have you.
Thanks, Shelley. It's great to be here with you as well.
Absolutely. So, one of the largest U.S. software IPOs in history happened this past April. So that's really exciting for you and the team at Uipath. I'd love to hear more about the focus of the company. And now that you're a public company, how do you view the evolution of the robotic process automation category?
Yeah, thanks, Shelley. These are certainly exciting times for us. Uipath, we're an automation company.
Yeah.
We help customers automate their business processes. We help employees by automating the routine and repetitive work that they do on a day-to-day basis. We help our customers by implementing brand new business processes and applications from the ground up. A lot of people know this category as robotic process automation, RPA.
Right.
And that's the history in what we're rooted in. And if you're a student of the software industry, you realize that there's a lot of promises we've been talking about for a long time, but the implementations keep changing.
Right.
RPA wasn't the first category to come along and say, hey, we're going to help you automate your business processes. We're going to help you integrate all those applications. But what was different about RPA was its ability to automate through the user interface. And that's what gives us the ability to emulate the work that people do, so we can really capture the work of the business process. And that's really where the business started. I think phase one of this market was the RPA phase, and building the end-to-end platform, UI automation, API integration, helping automate the repetitive and the routine. Now, we view ourselves in phase two, and that really began, I'd say, late 2019, where we started to talk about an end-to-end automation platform, elevating the intelligence of what our robots can do via artificial intelligence and machine learning, enabling other ways to engage end users from the desktop through to rich application experiences, through natural language with things like chatbots, to also helping our customers discover more opportunities to automate and find those things by applying AI and machine learning techniques, following work, looking at processes to help identify more. So there's a much larger vision now of what we're able to do for customers.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Those early sort of low-hanging fruit automations are, to my way of thinking and experience and talking to customers, are what helps get customers excited about doing more. And so once you get those automations in place, people start thinking about, oh, this is great. Now what can we do? And how can we take this further? And how can we use deeper capabilities? And I think that is, kind of one of the specialties of Uipath, at least it's been my observation over the years, is that your company has been able to keep customers and encourage them to, increase what it is you're doing along the way, along the automation path. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I think you're right on as to how the typical journey goes. I mean, we all know this. We all have things in our lives where we're doing these repetitive tasks. It might be a few times a day, it might be once a week, it might be once a month, but places we're taking information, we're working with documents, we're composing other documents, we're composing email, and that's a real sweet spot
Right.
for our platform to be applied, and often where the low-hanging fruit is, whether that's in the front office in a call center, whether that's in the back office, that's where things start. But then there's opportunities for this platform to be used for just brand new, ground up new capability. One of my favorite examples actually comes from early on in this COVID period we've all been living through, which is where a lot of the banks were required to stand up new loan processing processes for these PPP loans and these stimulus programs. And, banks are, like all enterprises, but banks are incredibly sophisticated technically. They
Right.
have any number of ways they could have built these processes. And a large number of them chose our platform to do this new thing because it was simply the fastest way for them to accomplish the job they had. Take some data, validate it, route it for approval, then manipulate it in a way that it could be passed off to the federal system. So it spans that, starting from automating the repetitive and the routine. And then these other larger opportunities come along later when you see, wow, this platform can be used for just lots of different things.
Right, absolutely. And I think the banking and finance industry has been a big kind of shining example of, the need to embrace transformation. And we'll just wait a minute and edit that out.
That was your dog, not
It
mine.
was my dog, and I had a feeling, I muted a minute ago, and I had a feeling that somebody was walking by or something. So, okay, I'm going to just pick this right up.
Yep.
That's an interesting example. And I know that the banking and finance industry is, one of those industries that truly had to pivot and embrace transformation in all ways quickly when, we started navigating the pandemic, and, customers were anxious and worried and everything else. So lots of success stories have come out of that in terms of how the industry has been able to use RPA and other technology. So I think that's pretty cool. One thing I wanted to talk with you about, so the RPA space is not, the automation space in general is not an uncrowded space. As you know, but I think that there is an interesting conversation around the benefits of an end-to-end platform and why customers might want to seek that out. So can you talk with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we see this as a common pattern where, categories will start out in some way, and then there's a set of adjacencies where there's logical needs for customers to have those as integrated capabilities. There's more value by the combination than by them being separate. And that can be, customers aren't always looking for more vendors. So it's great to have to deal with fewer companies. It's great for end users to have consistent experiences for a lot of things. And then there's the additive benefits of how you put a product together with another product and then can offer some unique capability. One example is, our investments in what we call our discover area of products. And this is about helping our customers identify more opportunities to automate. So that first part of the journey, and then they're anxious to do more. The discovery products help them find opportunities to do more automation. One area of that products is a product we call task capture. So there's experts out there, they know where the frustrations are. They can capture that repetitive task, the flow, screenshots, package it up for a developer. That can be turned into an automation. Process mining is an existing category. It's about monitoring your most important business processes, finding bottlenecks and anomalies. And that's super important to identify opportunities to automate. We can be different because it's an end-to-end platform, because we can connect the dots between an opportunity to automate, an insight on a business process, to directly an opportunity then to automate. And then we've got another product called task mining, that actually watches the work of individuals, respects their privacy and data, but watches what they do, reasons over that with a machine learning system, and then that can help identify opportunities to automate very high yield things that have existed, but now that you put them together, more powerful, for customers, because they can not only have the observation, but they can close the loop as well.
Absolutely. Now, I know that, you spoke a little bit about process mining. I know that Uipath has made some semi-notable acquisitions over the course of the last year. Are any of those that you want to touch on that, have integrated into the platform that make it better, greater?
Yeah, as you noted, process mining, the seed
Right.
of that product was around the acquisition of a company, Process Gold, from the Netherlands. Great company, deep expertise in understanding business process and the understanding of business process through analytics.
Yeah.
And that was a great start for us in terms of then building out process mining, and a great team to start with. But now, we've taken forward now delivering on more of these end-to-end scenarios. Task capture and task mining also came via seed of an acquisition of a company called Stepshot. And that gave us a great start in terms of building out those capabilities as well.
Yeah, very cool. I knew there had been some really interesting acquisitions along the way. So let's talk a little bit about, the family is always growing, right? So let's talk about a little bit about the latest addition to the family, Cloud Elements.
Yeah, we're very excited about this acquisition. We just announced it a couple of months ago. Cloud Elements is a integration platform company. And so think of them as helping their customers, in their case, connect to various applications, platforms, integrate with them technically at an API level. That's what they do, and that's what they did exceptionally well. So let's talk about RPA. When we talk about RPA, we often start talking about UI automation because that's one of its unique elements. But it also can be appropriate to integrate via the API. So technically integrating with the system using an API call, as opposed to automating through the user interface. And we have on the platform today, we have lots of API integrations. But as we talk to customers, they very much give us the feedback that they'd like to see us expand that catalog in those capabilities. And that's where Cloud Elements fits in. The deep expertise, the broad catalog of API integrations, really a perfect fit in terms of integrating into our platform and our product line. And that's going to provide an expanded set of integrations for our customers. That's going to provide other platform capabilities. We talk about triggers on the server side. Think of that as like, how does an automation get started? Well, I'd like to start that automation when the lead information updates in, say, Salesforce. And so adding those type of capabilities. So we're really excited about where this is going to go and what our developers are going to be able to do with it.
Yeah, that is exciting. I have a husband in sales, and updating pipeline platforms are one of many salespeople's least favorite things to do. So integrating automation into that process, I think, will make a lot of salespeople very happy, as well as front office people very happy.
Yeah, it's another great example of just why there's so much customer interest in the platform.
Yeah,
we all know about these things. We all know everybody has these type of repetitive tasks in their lives, and they really like to be spending their time on other things. And it's amazing when these automations get implemented and people are able to recapture hours of time. Our customers often speak to us about the return they get in terms of the hours they're able to recapture, hours of human work they can recapture, which means that now all those people can go focus on other things, which is tremendously exciting for them and for the business.
Well, yeah, and focus on the exciting things that they actually love doing, as in sales, selling more things to more people, compared to, spending time updating the pipeline. So yes, that's a no-brainer when it comes to trying to get people to embrace that, I think. And it's really just a matter of opening people's eyes as to what the possibilities are, and who doesn't want to spend time doing things that you love, right? Things
Right.
that you love and that are actually more profitable for the business. I mean, I think everybody wins there.
Yep.
So that's important. So we've talked about RPA. And, RPA is just kind of step one, really, when it comes to the amazing things that you can do with technology and with automation technology in particular. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about intelligent automation, which is really all about, adding artificial intelligence to the equation. So, give us your take on the AI integration and what your vision and you and the UiPath's team's vision is there.
Yeah, great topic for sure. At a top level, we in a way what we do is we're emulating the work that people do. And so at a very high level, you'd say, well, if you're emulating the work that people do, it seems very natural that the type of cognitive capabilities you get from applying AI machine learning would be a super powerful match to that type of platform in terms of enabling it to capture more and more work and take over more of the decisioning, and that's the trend we're really seeing. And we've invested in the platform to make it, well, first thing, easy for customers to bring their data science investments into the platform. So if I'm in, say, financial services and I have a risk model, maybe I want to use that risk scoring in another process. So making it easy to bring that model into the platform. And then we're thinking all across the surface area about the ways we can use artificial intelligence and machine learning to just improve the platform. A few examples. So we automate through the user interface. One of the methods we use there is also computer vision. We deeply understand lots of user interface systems like Windows applications and web applications, but then we train computer vision on the user interface elements. So then we can automate basically anything that the eye can see. We talked about task mining. Task mining is built on, machine learning based system that can, find and rank basically the repetitive actions people are taking to find those opportunities that are most relevant for someone to go automate. We have another area of the product called, document understanding. Our customers are working a lot with information that comes out of documents. And unfortunately, there's a lot of documents that show up in your life as effectively images, scanned documents. And, there's information on there. Like there's a table. Like OCR gave us kind of a bag of characters, optical character recognition, but wow, I can get that table out of there. So document understanding is a way of extracting all forms of information out of those kind of documents. And that's just, there's so much opportunity for how, in context of an automation platform, artificial intelligence and machine learning can be applied to do amazing things, including what I started with, where we expect customers to bring a lot of their models, partners as well, that we think is going to enable, these automations to be even more powerful.
Yeah, exciting times ahead for sure. So, as a final part of our conversation, I wanted to talk a little bit about Uipath Apps. Okay, so I've heard Uipath talk about the abstraction above the platform. Share with me a little bit. This, by the way, my favorite conversations are conversations with product and engineering folks, because this is when we really get down to the nitty-gritty of things. So talk with me a little bit about that, if you would.
Great. So talking about Uipath Apps, we really think of thematically about how do we help end users engage with these automations? Part of which is users have to perform tasks at times. So the robot can do a lot of things, but maybe we need to route things for an approval from an end user, or maybe there's a model being trained up and we need to, they need to validate some results. So we got a thing called Action Center, which is a lot about how humans perform their tasks. We also think about, like, on the desktop, you've got lots of automations. You know, an end user might have dozens of automations. Some they'd use every day, some they'd use once a month, some they'd use twice a year, you know, an out of office type automation, something like that. And so we've got a thing we call the Uipath Assistant, which is how you use on the desktop. So think of it like the Windows start menu, and how you find stuff and start stuff and control automations. And the last thing is about user interface. And that's really where Uipath Apps comes in, is enabling, you know, our customers to develop rich user experiences, anything from a simple data entry form over a single automation to a more complex multi-screen user interface. And so again, giving customers, there are other app platforms that they can use with us, but giving customers a, you know, built-in integrated option to really build those kind of rich user experiences in a low-code type experiences. And that's only going to increase the number of apps that and how end users, and enrich how end users engage with them.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Really exciting. Well, Ted, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Shelley Kramer from Futurum Research. Thank you for joining this session of the 6.5 Summit focused on AI, machine learning, and business development. This conversation with Uipath's Ted Kummert was a fascinating one. We've got a few more sessions today featuring Jonathan Ross, the CEO of Grok, Dave Konetsky with Dell, and Tom Anderson, the VP of Red Hat's Ansible automation platform. We then finish off the day with a live Q&A with executives from Splunk, HPE, and Cloudera, featuring Daniel Newman from Futurum and Patrick Moorhead for more insights and strategy. This is one conversation you'll be sure and want to be a part of, so check your agenda for a link to view and participate. We'll see you there.